Yes, we're back. Roshfooco watches and things. And rather belatedly, today we're going to look at one of my 2020 pickups. Should have been a 29 pickup, but we'll talk about that in due course. If you can see, yeah, this is from Hamtun Watches. It's not an unboxing, I have had it out and worn it for a little while. It does come with an additional rubber strap with custom ends, fitted ends for the case. Titanium clasp. It's one of those ones you have to cut, so I've not used that yet, and looking at it, it's a little bit linty, but you know, maybe I'll use that one day. It just comes in this, you know, fairly usable but nothing special PU leather watch roll, and there's the watch itself. So as I was saying, this is, or was, a Kickstarter watch from 2019, funded in around 30 seconds. It absolutely blew up, this one. This of course is the Hamtun Kraken H2. Hamtun are a UK based micro brand, Hamtun being the ancient name for the settlement that we now know as Southampton, seeing as my parents met at university in Southampton. I thought there was a nice link with the watch itself, so I picked one up. The campaign was in March of 2019. It was supposed to be delivered by the end of August 2019, but there were substantial delays, meaning that even when I was back at Christmas and New Year, it still wasn't delivered. So I've only just got it now. I think it did arrive sometime in January, but it's only filtered its way to me where I live for work now, March the 17th, 2020. It was Hamtun's fourth Kickstarter campaign, and the brand owner Russ seems like a decent enough chap, if somewhat overworked. Like I say, this Hamtun H2 just blew up unbelievably. So I think there's been problems, you know, there's been that strife in Hong Kong with the protests and stuff as well. So I think there's been some issues. There's been some design and engineering issues as well. So it's nice that we finally got a watch. What can we say? Let's go through some basic specs. Like I say, I've only just had this. I've worn it for a few days, but we can run through the basics of it. It's a 41mm case. Diameter, it's 48 lug tip to lug tip. 13mm thick. There is another option that is thicker, but this one's 13. It's got 22mm lugs. Inside, through that rather niftily etched case back is a Swiss SW200 elaborate grade Swiss movement, plus or minus 7 seconds a day. I've not actually checked the accuracy of it yet, but that will come in due course. Sapphire crystal, AR coating underneath. Lumed ceramic bezel insert with super luminova, BGW9. 200 meters water resistant, as it will tell you on the dial. The bezel insert is, as I mentioned, is a lumed ceramic, and it is a 60 click. Really satisfying. I think it's a ball bearing setup for the bezel, so you know, I mean, there's a little bit of wobble in it, but a really refreshing, rather agricultural click, I guess. Some people like 120 clicks for whatever reason. This is much more like, for example, a Citizen ProMaster bezel, which is 60 click as well. Lines up, does the job. Fully titanium case crown, case back, bracelet, clasp, bezel, the lot. This is apparently coated with what Hamtun called tough titanium. It's got a coating on it which makes it, judging by the numbers, makes it super scratch resistant. Titanium in its regular form being fairly soft and easily scratchable. Like I say, I've only worn this a couple of days, but no scratches at all. Nice to gaze at that stark white dial. I did not have a white dial diver previous to this watch, so again another reason. So white matte dial, white chapter ring, applied indexes throughout, double step down date window at the 4 o'clock. Nice kind of symmetry on the text and logo placing on the dial. Handset segmented, looks good. I like that black outline, and a kind of light blue lollipop on the end of that second hand, matching up with the Kraken text you see there above, automatics, towards the bottom of the dial. A very similar blue colour, so nice cohesion in the palette that they've chosen here. It was available with various dial colours and a couple of different options for the bezel insert as well. I've been enjoying wearing it. It's very light, obviously, because of the titanium. The bracelet itself is super light. The watch head's, you know, got some heft to it, but yeah, wears really well. Looking at the bracelet, again, fully titanium, brushed, carrying on that, you know, fairly rugged design style that goes through the case as well. You can see the case hasn't got any bevels or chamfers or anything. It's a pretty no-nonsense setup. The bracelet continues that solid links with screws, solid end links. It's got that protruding first mid link, which does extend the north to south of the watch, but as you'll see when I put it on, it doesn't harm the wearing of it at all. Clasp, you'll notice, is branded, but just a very basic pressed titanium clasp. One of the stretch goals that was unlocked in the campaign was to have a ratcheting milled out titanium clasp. Now that one was not fulfilled. I believe that's still in production and will be sent out in due course, and I hope it does, because you know, that's not really up to cop. Crown is branded but a little undersized, and yes, it's screwed down, quick set date, all the rest of it, but I'm not going to unscrew it because it is an absolute horror to screw back in. It's got cross threads written all over it. My fingers are hurting from trying to manipulate this crown, so it's in at the moment, and I'm going to leave it in until I have to unscrew it, because it is an absolute pig of a crown. Don't like that bit at all. Before we take a look at the luminescence, let's just run through a couple of the things that perhaps are not the best things about the watch and the campaign itself. First of all, the delay in the campaign was about 5 months delayed, which was obviously a drag, but you know, I'm not blaming anybody for that. That's kind of what happens. But again, it's a symptom of these Kickstarter watches, Kickstarter brands, that you know, delays in the supply chain can really damage their lead times. There was no warranty card when I received the watch. I know Hamtun offers a 2-year warranty, and I think from what I can see, there is a serial number. Each of these watches was numbered individually, and that is going to be a portal to being able to have it serviced or checked, or you know, if it gets sold on previous ownership and stuff. So hopefully that's set up in due course. It's not live at the moment, but I do believe that's Ross's plan. You know, there's a little bit of the wobble there. It's not too much of a bother, and I actually do like the bezel action, but it's not rock solid. It's okay though. You know, some people don't like those sticky out end link, mid links, but whatever. But the real horror is the crown, and you know, I'm going to wear it for a little while, and if I have more problems, I'm going to have to. I think I have to send this in to get it fixed or changed or something, because that's a nightmare. £299 plus shipping. I paid for this. Is that a lie? I think I paid 300 and whatever it was. Well, I didn't get the first early bird. I got the second one, and that was literally about 30 seconds after the campaign started. So a little over £300 for a fully titanium watch with an automatic Swiss movement, a 2-year warranty, and kind of devilish handsome looks, really. But man, that crown, Ross, holler at me, man. And there is the Kraken H2 7-inch wrist. You can see that those end links, if anything, give a nice overall profile to the watch itself. So I don't have any beef with that at all. The clasp, the bracelet does taper a little, so wears quite well, although we need to upgrade that clasp. I like it. I've liked wearing it for the last few days. I like the colour scheme. I like the materials. But man, that clasp. Not the clasp, I meant to say the crown. So with one or two negatives or things that aren't particularly special about this watch, let's try and redeem ourselves by turning out the lights. Super duper lume, no issue with that. BGW 9. that kind of light bluish luminescent. Bezel inserts packed with it, indexes on the dialer, and the hands are packed with it. Even that blue lollipop on the second hand has got some decent lume as well, so shout out to that. So this is roshfooco with the Hamtun Kraken H2. Lots to like about it. It seems like the problems and the delays in the production of the watch have resulted in some QC issues that, you know, is borderline returnable. Even though I love the look of it, I'm going to see how it plays out in the next couple of days, but you know, maybe I'll send it back, maybe I won't, who knows. Anyway, roshfooco watches and things, Hamtun Kraken H2, and I'm out of here.